Okay, so tell us, Alex, what was on your idea mind, your lovely mind when we started this?
Oh my gosh. Well, I met Debra Silverman at the expo in LA at the beginning of this year, and I knew she was going to be there, and I'm a fan of her work before arriving. And as an astrologer in this community, I was like, oh, I hope I get to talk to Debra. I hope I get to at least, talk to her outside of the panel. And she was one of the first people that I bumped into when I arrived. We ran into each other at line, and it was just like
I know you.
yeah, and we just instantly clicked, and we've been wanting to do a video, and I sat down to do my video yesterday, and I took, oh my gosh, I must have taken 30 takes, and I was just bored. I was so bored. You could tell I was bored. I was watching my recordings, and I was like, I can't post this. This is not uplifting. This is not interesting. I need to shake things up. I need to breathe some fresh energy into this situation. And I think that speaks perfectly to the aspects that we have going on, this Uranian influence. This whole new moon has this kind of Uranian glitter dusted all over it, and needing to think outside the box and shake off the stagnation and, do something interesting. Because I think a lot of people are bored and feeling stagnant and frustrated, and we're going to talk about that. So I texted Deborah last minute yesterday evening and was like, let's do a live. I don't know what to talk about, and I need some fresh energy. And she thankfully agreed very last minute. So we have nothing planned. We're flying by the seat of our pants, and we're going to do this Uranus style. Just boom, boom, boom. See what happens.
Well, it's not that we have nothing planned. We are both astrologers who know what's going on today and wanted to share and collaborate, because as soon as we met, we was standing in line to get our speaker sign. They give you these little signs. I have some here with a little, and I looked over and I was like, wow, she's pretty. Because people don't ever say that out loud, but I always say it to people that are pretty. I can't help it. Men or women or kids. I just like, someone's got to say it, said to say it or did say it. And then she started talking about her nodes, immediately talking about her North Node in Aries. And that she was like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, she said in very few sentences, so succinctly, the whole version of the North Nodes being so important that all of her reading, she did the North Node. And I was like, wow, that was pretty good, because she's only been an astrologer for 10 years as compared to my 40 some years. Mm-hmm. And yet she got to the bottom note, because when you see her chart, can we just show your chart? Because my audience will watch this too.
Sure.
She has the coolest chart. I actually can pull it up if you want me to. You
want to pull it up?
It'll be in my system. Yes. Here, let me pull it up, because I have it right here. And it's such an interesting chart. Share the screen. Oopsie. Get out of the way, Charlie Brown. Get out of the way. This is her chart. Let's pull it off this so I can give you a bigger version. Let's get rid of that. Let's open up this. See, look, I'm technical. It's such a joke. Look at this cool chart. So she's a Sagittarius in the 8th house. This is why I fell in love with her immediately. A Sagittarius in the 8th house. In our system, I'm going to speak a little bit of my astrology. Whenever a planet is conjunct the sun, moon, or rising that belongs as an outer planet to an inner, you are Saturnian. And that's why in 10 years, you've done such a deep study of astrology with such a serious, she's so serious, but she's funny, seriously funny. And then the other signature you have is Pluto conjunct Mercury in Scorpio, which is her deep diving into really authentic. Like the thing I loved about Alex immediately, and you can meet someone and you know this, was her authenticity, because here we have it. She's double fire. Okay, Debra Silverman. I'm like, okay, I'm with you, Alex. And the next thing you know, we were dancing. And then she told me immediately about her North Node. And her South Node, by the way, is exactly on my ascendant. Her South Node.
That's right. I forgot about that.
We have a soul agreement. And then this lovely Mars in Pisces gives her this lovely dance with this magical realm. But I think the most important signature of her whole chart is she's a visionary. You are looking at a visionary.
On the midheaven. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is a signature. So there you have it. She's got a little bit of earth, but a lot of, what would you say? A lot of, whoa, my goodness. She's got 5 plants in fire. Water.
Yeah. Water and fire.
Is that why you're so pretty?
Well, my Neptune in Capricorn is a joke. I always tell people that's like having like a hot air balloon with a string with like a little clump of dirt on it. I mean, it's like, there's like nothing.
I'm flying. Look down. There's a rock. The rock's not working. That's so cute.
Exactly.
Well, I can take care of your earth for you, sister. Okay,
Please.
so let's come into this moment. You guys have watched our comedy team because we love each other. We don't even know each other. We love each other. That was not, it was just months ago. Then she wrote me. I love that. I got a text in. She was in Australia, and I was reading the text, and I was like, "What?" They weren't letting her out of the country. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, that was an adventure.
I I was holding for you. My eighth
Thank
house
you.
was holding for you." So
Thank
let's talk about today. The sun and
Yeah.
the moon are together conjunct. We all know this. When they're together, there's no reflection. They block each other out. It's kind of like an eclipse without being an eclipse. So there's a deep entrance into self, which would explain why you needed to reach out. When you're born under a new moon, you have a hard time if you are left alone too long because you'll cave in. You'll find yourself more and more comfortable with yourself because your emotional body and your ego are so intertwined that if someone doesn't pull you apart and help your emotional body separate, you get blocked. And that's what
Mhm.
happens to double people. Anybody that's got sun and moon conjunct, even if it's in Leo, they are introverted because it's a dark night and
Mhm.
they're inside themselves. So double Taurus, for God's sake. So the interesting thing that's going on in the heavens with this double Taurus is, and you can show your chart, is Saturn is squaring the sun and the moon right now, and Uranus is at 5 degrees squaring the sun and the moon. It's a very uncomfortable moment, and here's what it looks like in the heavens. This
All
is
right.
solar fire, right? Your platform is solar fire.
Uh-huh.
So people that want to wonder, how come her chart looks so different? That's called solar fire.
No, wait, actually, this one's Astro Gold, I think.
Oh, astral gold. They're
Yeah.
cousins. So we
Yes,
see the
Astro
sun
Gold.
and the moon conjunct. Look at that.
Here, I'm gonna circle it.
Wait a minute. Oh, so the moon hasn't entered Taurus yet.
Oh well, we're current
That's today, right now in Los
2
Angeles.
hour. So the moon will be exact new moon at approximately 7:30 ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time this evening. But we're heading there. So here's our
There
new
it
moon
is.
conjunct Uranus.
If a baby were born with that, we would say to the mom, "Excuse me, but your child is very, very resistant." That is a chart of someone that they're like, "Mom, don't tell me what to do. And by the way, I'll do it when I want, and it's not right now."
Yeah.
So that's what happened to Alex last night. She was like, "I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it," but the Taurus energy at conjunct Uranus was like, "Oh yeah, watch this." It's resistance. It's awkward. It's bumpy. It's frustrated. It's There's a lot of energy right now that is contracted, even
hmm
though it's grounded. So that's the confusion. Now talk about, say you do your version. Talk about
Yeah.
Saturn squaring.
Yeah. So we've got Saturn squaring this new moon. Here's Saturn at 1 degree Aquarius. We can see that we have our new moon at 3 degrees Taurus. And just to speak on, for those of you that don't know, a square is a disharmonious aspect. It's a blocker, limiter. There's a conflict of interest happening between these two areas of the chart. And we know that Taurus is a lover of the earth. I think of Taurus as the builder, producer of the zodiac. It harmonizes with the assets, the gifts of Gaia, and is really here to be this kind of earth angel, earth steward, loves earth. We have the new moon with Uranus, which is this rebel, heretic, freedom fighter here for revolution and new information. So this over here, this new moon in Aquarius, or I'm sorry, new moon in Taurus with Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, this to me, this signature is like, this is the new earth awakening over here. But we have Saturn in Aquarius blocking that desire to ascend, that desire to awaken, that desire to open to new information. So a lot of people are feeling this frustration. And this is like convention versus awakening, tradition versus new earth, or the blocking effect that the rebels and the ascended new earth freedom fighters are feeling from the blocking of the government and the current situation, and everybody being stuck in their houses. And I think that this is happening on the macro level as we are all experiencing it on lockdown and in quarantine, etc., but also in our own individual lives, and feeling constricted and hindered and reduced and frustrated. So there's this feeling of wanting to break out and break free. But I think another problem with this new moon is that the ruler of it is Venus, and she's in Gemini in shadow, preparing to go retrograde, and she's being squared by Neptune. So
I mean, you can't win.
yeah. And so Venus in Gemini, she wants information. She wants to be social. She wants to figure out her world through, you know, socializing with others, but she's being blocked by Neptune, the planet of illusion and fantasy. So this is making the information and the conversations that are flying around and the options very convoluted, very confusing, very illusory, and in some instances paranoid. And we see this on the internet of people just butting heads, and nothing's getting accomplished. Really, it's just like and so what I've been meditating on, because I'm feeling this myself, and
Can you stop sharing just so I can see? Because now I can't see you. And
yeah. So what I've been trying to figure out for myself is like, what's the lifeline here? What's the lifeline in this new moon? Because we know that new moon is a time of planting seeds for not only the next lunar cycle, but the next 6 months. And how can we use this portal today, which is very powerful because we have Uranus here. And I think for me, the lifeline is Uranus, which I know that you're a huge fan of this planet, because Uranus is this antenna that pulls us out of the restrictions of our earthbound perceptions and is this channel to higher visions and emancipates us from the slavery of feeling like we're just, here in this life and then we die and it's over. No, Uranus knows that there's much more, and it channels this beautiful galactic energy where anything is possible and we can be surprised by what's possible. So using, this meeting today as a perfect example is, we have to get inventive and we have to think outside the box. And I was just like, I'm feeling stuck. I'm going to call Deborah and see what happens and, kind of welcome that. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that.
Little Aries rising. But here's my direction in this moment of time, particularly on this beautiful, I happen to be in love with Taurus. I just wrote a newsletter and said, if you want to know about Taurus, think Winnie the Pooh, ate too much honey, couldn't get through the door to go see Piglet. And I can't think of that image, just makes you giggle. Think about a Buddha who sat under a tree, and all the Buddha taught us was all suffering comes from attachment. So there is nothing to be attached to right now, said Uranus. Let go.
Mm-hmm.
Sit still. If we haven't been brought to our knees this up last month through April, today is an opportunity to say, okay, I am out of control. Uranus, when Uranus comes, it's electric and it disrupts.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it disrupting? Taurus, the earth. So it makes
Stability.
You feel like you're not safe. Exactly. There's no security. There's no answers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the funniest part that I keep hearing is I've got friends who are definitely conspiracy theorists. And they say, this was put in place by an artificial means inside of a laboratory. Like, okay, then we have the scientists. This is a result of poison coming out of your body because that's what a virus is, and you're being toxified because of 5G.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This is they've told me this point blank. When new technology comes into the world, there is an increase of disease, and they've proven it from the Spanish flu in 1917-18. That was the introduction of radio waves, all the way to what happened with SARS when they brought
Mm-hmm.
in another technology. I think it was 4G. So
Mm-hmm.
we're on 5G now. Listen, the short answer is Taurus says, Winnie the Pooh, pass the chocolate. Like, okay, whatever the story is, if we can't talk about orgasm, we can't talk about chocolate, we can't talk about fun, I'm going home, because there is no answer. Uranus is squaring Saturn. Let's just take away the signs. Saturn is telling us we've got to ground. Uranus is saying, absolutely not. I'm doing electrical currents. I'm going to break the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They're squaring. They don't get along. So is there not evidence that we are completely out of control? So what does a Taurus do when they're out of control? They slow it down. They clean a little.
Mm-hmm.
They do not use the word bored. So for all of you who are bored, I'm going to tell you something. I'm 1,000 years older than you. I'm twice the age of Alex. I'm literally in my 60s. And here's what I've learned. Everything tastes better when I eat it slow.
Mm.
Everything smells better when I actually close my eyes and smell it. Everything feels better making love when I go really slow.
Mm-hmm.
This is the answer to the question of double Taurus and the quality of Saturn saying, you're right. Just everybody, I got the double Taurus thing down here. I go slowly. And I say to myself, all my suffering is going to come from me being attached to wanting this to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going slow, Alex? You just slowed down, by the way.
I did. Thank you for that. Well, first of all, it's hard for an Aries rising to go slow, but it's funny. I love that you're bringing this up because when we're done with this video, I'm going to go out. I'm going to leave my house. I'm going to go out into nature. I'm going to sit my ass on the earth and I'm going to chill because I've been so intertwined with technology all this week and so guilty of getting wrapped up in this information chaos.
That's a Saturn square. Aquarius is taking you away from Taurus, from your earth.
And then when I get home tonight, I'm literally cleaning my house. That's what I'm doing. And I'm going to look forward to it. And I'm going to light candles and I'm going to get some fresh cut flowers from the store. And I'm exactly what you're saying, because that is what I feel like we need to do, because you're exactly right. There is no clear truth right now. It's just coming in, it's just streaming in all of this information. And I think that on this new moon in Taurus, like getting grounded and finding that inner stability and indulging in the pleasures of life that none of this has taken away, and exactly like you're saying, food.
The fresh water that comes out of your shower when you get up in the morning, the soft pillow that you, what happened? Did we go away? No.
You're good. I can still see you.
Bells are going off for me and my gal. I was just saying, be thankful for the phone that works. Be thankful for the hot shower. Be thankful for the pillow. Like, this is Taurus. I love my sheets. You know what I did, Alex? I bought a brand new vacuum cleaner.
Oh my God.
I fell in love with a vacuum cleaner. If that's not Taurus, simple pleasures. I'm going to go home tonight, put some candles on, put some aromatherapy, make sure I've got my yummy smells, and I'm going to clean, said Alex. That's what you guys have to do. Stop trying to figure this out. Uranus is on the sun saying erratic change. You're not trying to figure it out. Saturn's in Aquarius saying get off the computer for short periods of time during these few Earth days here. Mm-hmm. Celebrate Earth. Get out. I love what you're doing. Get outside. Mm-hmm. In Boulder right now, it's a horribly stupid looking day. I'm not going to judge it, but I want to, because I'm going to, instead of judging it, I'm going to do Taurus and go outside and say, I'm going to lie. I'm going to say, I really love when it's 60 degrees and cloudy. Now, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to wear my cashmere. I'm going to put some cashmere on. I'm going to go on my bike and I'm going to let the wind, and it's not pretty. There's nothing pretty about Taurus is at their worst, live with a lot of insecurity. Mm-hmm. They feel, Taurus at their worst have a low grade inability to take a compliment in. Like, they feel like nothing's quite right because they're such a perfectionist and they just love simplicity. And it doesn't seem like it's very sophisticated. Mm-hmm. Well, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. Sophisticated is drinking water from a glass bottle in a glass and actually paying attention to the feeling of the water going into your system. Mm-hmm. That's pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that is perfect because I say this mantra to myself all the time. How far into a single moment can I go? Just to what you're talking about when I'm drinking water or eating, can I tune out everything else and just come into that single moment?
How far into, I'm writing it down, into a single moment can I go? Want to hear my mantra from James Taylor? The meaning of life is enjoying the passage of time. I use it every single day.
I love that.
And that's all I think about. Like, the meaning of this life is just, if I can, I love that. How far into the single moment can I go? That's what I'm asking.
I want to write down yours. What was yours?
It's James Taylor. The meaning of life is enjoying the passage of time. We're so cute, the two of us.
I know.
We could have a party together. I hope you're all enjoying us. And I'm going to say one last. I have this book. It's called The Missing Element. The first chapter of the book, you ready for this? Is called Crisis. You an astrologer? You knew this was coming? Yes. I mean, honestly, the first chapter, it tells you about, it's not astrology, it's elemental wisdom. Sad but true, we all grow out of the soil of pain. The crises that arise in our lives are here to serve us, not hurt us. As counterintuitive as this sounds, crisis is nothing more than your own soul trying to get your attention to show you the path. The soul uses pain, crisis, and trauma to wake us up. Who made that up?
I love that. What book is that?
I wrote it. The
You
Missing
wrote it?
Element.
Oh my God. How do I not have that?
I'm going to send it to you. You just write your address. I'm going to do it today. Yeah. So you can order the book from my house. If you go online, you can order from Amazon, of course, and Audible. But if you order from me online, I will send you your chart and I will sign it. And then you go through it. It's all kinds of pretty pictures.
Oh, wow.
And there he is. There's Taurus. And it's all about how do we respond in crisis? Is that beautiful?
Wow.
How do we go through crisis, said the Taurus wisdom body, said the double Taurus, and find the high road based on your elements. Now, knowing you're double fire, Alex, as she drinks a glass of water, you have got to get outside. If you know, I'm not going to go through them right now, but I'm going to just tell you shortly. You can go on my website and read The Missing Element, or on Amazon. You'll figure out your missing element and you grow it, and then you come to balance.
For me, which would be Earth.
And she's wearing a brown shirt and she's going out today. She's got a lot of beads. Okay,
I'm bringing my drum.
So this is very simple. Venus is going retrograde. We're going to have to review what just happened around our love affairs and what we're doing. But most important, during these few days, here we are. What day is today?
22nd.
So Wednesday and Thursday is the new moon. Friday and Saturday, it goes into Gemini. And that's going to be a lighter energy. So take advantage of Thursday and Friday. Give yourself permission. First of all, I tell everybody, don't bypass. Go ahead and complain. You can call someone and say, listen, I'm bored. I'm miserable. I'm sick of the stupid food I'm eating. This person I sleep next to is driving me crazy. I don't have any more work. I can't figure out what I'm doing. You can complain. And then you say to them that, thank you for letting me complain. I call that air conditioning. But these 2 days before that'll be on when moon gets into Gemini. These 2 days, slow it down and do what Alex did. Reach out. I was so honored that she reached out to me, and we are collaborating as two women, sisters, family members, astrologers, to say to everyone, this is a moment that's very uncomfortable for everyone. You can make a difference. And all you have to do is slow it down. Get on a rock, clean your house. I swear to God. That's my answer. What do you think, Alex?
I love it. I love it. Do you want to go over Venus retrograde real quick?
You can, because that's your speech. You do it. I will listen to everything you say.
Yeah. Well, I did a video on it. So if people want to look more in depth into this transit, it's a video before this one. But I think we should mention it because Venus is the ruler of Taurus and it's the ruler of this new moon, which, like we previously mentioned, is partly some of this confusion is that Venus is in shadow. She's been in shadow since April 10th. So she's been there for.
What does that mean?
Means that she's walking through the same degrees that she will be passing through in her retrograde course.
So she's getting ready. So she's in those degrees. She goes backwards and she goes back there. So it becomes a shadow.
Right. So essentially, as we prepare for her to go retrograde, which will happen on May 12th, so it's a few weeks from now, but we are seeing the themes of the Venus retrograde trickle in. She's preparing to go on her journey. And so during a Venus retrograde, we have things around relationships come up. We have things around finances come up. And a retrograde is a time of reflection and introspection and going inward and gathering more information. So that's the other reason that this is kind of a challenging time, is that there is this desire to find answers because Venus is in Gemini, where she really has all of these questions and she wants answers to them, but she's also preparing to go into shadow. She's preparing to go on a journey to discover more. And I keep telling my clients this, and people have been just emailing me saying, oh my God, this is insane. If you go back to May, June of 2012, that's the last time that she was retrograding in Gemini in your chart. So there's this cord, this link to that time period. What was coming up in your friendships? What was coming up in your relationships? What was coming in your life? Because there's a connection there, and anything that was incomplete through that karmic cycle can be coming back up again for review. So May 12th, she will go retrograde, and she won't go direct until June 24th, June 25th. But we are preparing for that now because we're in shadow. So it is a pretty
good to know.
Time. A lot of people are feeling like they're at a crossroads and like there's all of these different options, but not really feeling like anything is really clear. So I think and I think that this is worth mentioning, because the new moon is forming this square to Saturn, which is frustrating, because we have that Saturn element and because of the Taurus element, which is about stability, we can be thinking about what is going to bring in stability for me for the long term, Saturn, right? Looking ahead. And again, yes, it's very, there's a lot of unknowns. We don't even know when we're going to be coming out of lockdown. We don't even know when we're going to be able to go back to work. But we can look at the knowns, which are, what am I valuing right now for the long term? How can I take care of myself right now, Taurus, within these really challenging times? How can I get present and feed myself the right food and cleanse, these toxins out of the system and these kind of things, these self-care things, these are in our control. They can't take that away from us. Nothing can. So I think that this Taurus new moon, again, is, yes, about presence, but also just about like extreme self-love and self-care. That is what Taurus is really good at,
And I love that. My Venus is at 14 Gemini, and so is it today. So I'm feeling extremely loving.
Oh, she's going to retrograde right on your Venus.
And I'm doing, in my relationship, we had to do some review already with a shadow hit us, and it's been really fascinating. I'm loving every minute of it. I think the thing when you get older, turn into your 60s, and then you finish your second Saturn return, and you really do take Buddha's wisdom, who I clearly in past lives, there's no question that I've been in devotion to this practice of Buddhism. It becomes so clear that the practice of simplicity and praying and quiet, and this is the biggest takeaway for me about Taurus and Venus going retrograde. The relationship you're in is what it is. You get a vote, and during a retrograde, it can get disruptive. The vote is, am I being a good partner? To myself. I'm going to write that down. First, to myself, and then, am I taking care of me really? Am I full up? Is my container got lots of liquid and juiciness? Then I look at the next person. I go, have I been good to him? And if I can say yes, then I can say, okay, now I know I've done my side of the street. So just everyone double Taurus, Tauruses are kind of messy. They leave things around. They think they're cleaning, but there's little pieces of dirt everywhere, dust and stuff, because they kind of like it that way. Tauruses have a tendency to go both ways. They're either super duper clean, but then they like to have a little bit of dust. A little bit of dust in your relationship is a little bit of dust in your life. Slow it down, get out the dust rag, double Taurus. Here we are, Wednesday and Thursday. I can't imagine anything more delicious than to be quietly comfortable with the discomfort.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think that also, I think that we're not really given a lot of training on how to feel comfortable with periods of time when it is time to question a relationship. That we don't have a lot of training about that. It's like we're taught to like, oh no, everything's fine. But like, our relationships evolve. And a lot of individuals that I've been doing readings for, they actually got in their current relationships during the last Venus retrograde in Gemini. And now it's coming up for review. And all of our relationships can be coming up for review, and that's okay. And Taurus is about moral code systems and values and our ethics and our standards. So maybe our standards are shifting slightly, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship needs to end. If both individuals can go through that and be like, is it time to renew this relationship in a new way? Are there certain things, right? Kind of revitalize it.
Venus Gemini. And to talk about the things that are behind you that you might have not finished. That's what we had to do. But now I have to go, sweetie. I'm on my timeline.
Sounds good.
What a pleasure. Oh my God.
Yeah. Thanks, Deborah. Where can people find you? And I'll put it up on the screen.
Debra Silverman Astrology on Instagram. There's every day I do videos that come out with where the moon is today. And then on my website, it's debrasilvermanastrology.com. Debra is my name. And then my book, you can either get it on The Missing Element on Amazon, or you can order it from me and I'll mail it to you with my handwriting inside of it and a check. That's what I was doing when you called.
Yay. I want one.
I'm going to send, will you text me, Alex, your address when you finish here? You want to stay on because you want to talk to your people?
Yeah, I'll stay on for a second.
Okay. How do I, because you're the host, right?
Yeah.
Cutest thing. I'm making you the host right here, right now. I don't know where we are, but
I think you can just
I just made you the host. You're all good, baby.
Oh, awesome.
Watch this. I'm going to leave the meeting with so much gratitude. This is a wise woman to call someone when you are stuck and then feel better than ever because you called them.
Love you, Deborah. Thank you so much. All right, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Breathing a little fresh energy into the space. I hope you guys are having an amazing new moon in Taurus. I know that these are challenging times. If you would like to reach out to me for a reading, you are more than welcome to do so. I will put my website right here. And I would also like to link you guys to my Instagram. I put up bi-monthly reports on my Instagram, as well as a lot of astrology in my Instagram story. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. Happy new moon in Taurus, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.